All right, so we're diving deep today into a case that's, well, it's got it all, money, betrayal, and a fatal fall from a mountain. I mean, talk about high
Yeah,
stakes.
this one's a real climb, all right, so to speak.
Yeah, so the victim's name is Leo, and he's a super successful businessman, but he's also, into this extreme free solo climbing.
Which is, no ropes, no safety gear.
Yeah, like totally nuts.
Totally.
So anyway, one day he's climbing this mountain and he falls to his death.
And right away, people are suspicious.
Like it wasn't just an accident.
Yeah, you see it right there in the initial reports we have. There's this immediate sense of, something being off, like they're at his funeral and the police are already there taking pictures.
So it's not just the family that's suspicious.
Right.
It's like the cops, too.
Exactly. And then there's Penelope. She's Leo's sister-in-law, and she doesn't buy the accident story for 1 second.
So she hires a PI.
She does. A guy named Nick.
Hmm.
It's all very hush-hush. They meet at this iron shop. Real discreet.
Double payment for silence.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Really makes you wonder what she's thinking. Who she's trying to hide.
Why not just, go to the police?
Right. If she's so sure something's wrong, it speaks volumes about trust or the lack thereof, I guess.
Yeah.
But, Nick, he's not one to waste time. He gets right to work.
Head straight to the police station.
Yep.
A little bit of persuasion involved, maybe.
Could be.
But anyway, he gets his hands on some photos from the scene and the autopsy report.
Crucial piece of evidence, that.
And this is where things get really interesting. The report says Leo's fingers were broken.
Broken fingers.
Yeah. For a free solo climber, that's kind of a big deal.
Huge. I mean, their grip is everything.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how he could have even fallen with broken fingers.
So Nick goes to the lead police officer with this new information.
And what's the reaction?
Dismissive. Totally shuts him down. Says it was an accident, case closed, end of story.
Interesting. That kind of resistance often means there's something more to uncover.
Right. So Nick starts digging deeper into the family, and he sees something strange. Leo's identical twin brother Elias is also into free solo climbing.
Oh, wow. So both brothers are scaling these sheer rock faces with no ropes?
Yeah. Talk about a coincidence.
What are the chances? It really makes you think about their relationship, what was going on between them.
Was it some kind of rivalry?
Could be. Or maybe they were closer than anyone realized.
So how does Nick approach Elias? Doesn't just come out and say, hey, I think your brother was murdered.
No, he comes up with this cover story, tells Elias he's a debt collector from an American company. Says Elias's company owes them a ton of money.
Risky move, right?
Oh, yeah. And to make matters worse, the whole conversation is being watched by that same police officer.
So Nick's under surveillance while he's trying to get information out of Elias? Talk about pressure.
Must have been nerve-wracking. But what's fascinating? Elias's reaction. He seems genuinely shocked about the debt.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, what? My company owes money? I had no idea.
So he's not actually in control of his own company's finances.
It seems that way. And that's a huge red flag for Nick.
Plus, Elias mentions that he was asleep when Penelope told him about Leo's death and that they'd had an argument before Leo died.
Okay, so there's definitely some tension between these brothers. But why are the police still watching Nick? I thought they were convinced it was an accident.
Yeah, that's the weird part. It's like they're not telling him everything.
There's got to be more to the story than they're letting on. And you know what it turns out there is? Nick eventually figures it all out. And the truth is way more twisted than anyone imagined. Leo didn't just die in a climbing accident. He faked his own death and murdered his brother Elias to take over the company.
Wait, hold on. He killed his own twin.
Yep, and made it look like an accident.
But how? Why?
Well, think about it. Elias was a free solo climber. He routinely climbed this particular mountain.
Right.
Leo knew that. He used that knowledge and their identical appearance to his advantage. He staged his own disappearance while making sure Elias died in his place.
So he was basically setting Elias up from the beginning.
It was a cold and calculated plan. And the detail about the broken fingers, that was part of the setup too. Leo probably broke Elias's fingers before pushing him off the mountain.
That's just brutal. So what happened when everyone found out the truth?
Well, let's just say the news didn't go over well. When their mother learned what Leo had done, she shot and killed him.
Wow. Talk about a family tragedy.
Yeah, it's a Greek tragedy playing out in real life, but it's not over yet.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. On his way home, Nick starts putting all the pieces together, and he has this realization. He realizes that Penelope was the one who orchestrated everything.
Penelope. But why?
She was miserable in her marriage to Elias.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted out.
Mm-hmm.
And when Leo took over, she realized he wasn't any better. She was still trapped.
So she used Nick to get rid of both of them.
It seems that way. And she knew exactly how to manipulate him. She played on his own marital problems, his wife's infidelity.
She knew he was vulnerable, and she used that.
Exactly. She basically weaponized his pain. And she confessed all of this to Nick, admitted that she'd felt used by both brothers, and that this was her way of getting her freedom.
That's cold. But you know what's crazy? In the midst of all this darkness, Nick has this personal breakthrough. He realizes he needs to go back to his wife.
Really, after everything that happened.
Yeah. He decides to fight for his family, for his daughter. It's like this case forced him to confront his own life, his own choices.
So in a way, he learned something from all of this.
He did. And it's a reminder that even in the darkest situations, there can be a glimmer of hope.
And for you listening, this whole case raises a lot of questions. Was Penelope truly a victim trapped by these two controlling brothers? Or was she the mastermind, a puppet master pulling everyone's strings? And was Nick right to empathize with her? Or did his own pain cloud his judgment? It really makes you think about the nature of truth and manipulation, and how sometimes the lines between victim and perpetrator can get very blurry.
So yeah.
Definitely a case that stays with you.